Dolphins fans, what's up? It's your boy Will Scott here with Dolphins Today by Chat Sports, and in today's show, we're going to be talking about a Dolphins-Bengals preview. Huge game in Cincinnati on Thursday night. A lot to discuss, including the injury report for the Dolphins. Dolphins come into this one 3-0. The Cincinnati Bengals 1-2. Somewhat of a disappointing start to the season for them because they, of course, won the AFC last year, but not the start they were looking for this season. They did, however, beat the New York Jets. I know, just the Jets. But still, got a big win over the Jets to avoid an 0-3 start. They did that last Sunday. That was a blowout win for Cincinnati. Let me know, who do you got? Do you got the Fins or do you got the Bengals? Type MIA for the Fins or type CIN for the Bengals down in the comment section. Go down, let me know who you got. But certainly things bigger than football this week. Hurricane Ian, a lot of our subscribers are in the path of the hurricane that's going to hit the west coast of Florida, so the Gulf Coast of Florida. So prayers up for everyone in the path of Hurricane Ian. We're certainly thinking about you guys, man. Type a prayer emoji down in the comments. I know a lot of our subscribers are right in that path, so we're certainly thinking of you guys, man, and hopefully you guys can remain safe during these days ahead. I want to hit on the injury report. There's a lot of guys on the injury report. Teron Armstead did not participate with the toe, but he was questionable the first 2 weeks, or last 2 weeks, I should say, and he played. Ethan Carter suffered a concussion in the season opener. We still haven't seen him. Xavier Howard, Robert Hunt, Brandon Jones, all on the injury report, as well as Hunter Long. Tua Tagovailoa is there, not with a concussion, but with a back and ankle injury. Jalen Waddle with a groin injury not participate. It is worth noting this is the injury report from Monday. I waited all day for the injury report from Tuesday and it hasn't come out, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But this is the injury report from Monday. Raekwon Davis limited, Javon Holland limited. It's also worth noting that they didn't practice yesterday or today, so this is basically an estimation saying, Raekwon would have been limited if we would have practiced today. Jalen would not have participated if we practiced today, so that's worth noting. Kader Kohou would have been limited, as well as Greg Little, Zach Sealer, and Cedric Wilson as well. All those guys would have been limited. But, of course, the big name on that list is our quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. So he says he suffered a back injury in the first half against the Pats, which caused him to stumble. The doctors allowed him to return. He passed a concussion test, according to Mike McDaniel. But because of the back, because of the ankle, he is questionable for Thursday Night Football. Here's what Tua said about his status for Thursday. He spoke to the media earlier today. I'm doing everything I can to get out there and play. I'm getting treatment, doing everything I can to get as close to 100% as possible. I would say everything in terms of what the injury is affecting. Having to twist the hand, the ball off, having to toss the ball, having to throw the ball, every aspect of it. So Tua is saying the injury is certainly having an impact. He hasn't thrown the ball around, apparently, since that Sunday game against Buffalo. Is Tua going to play? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comment section. Go down, predict it. Is Tua Tagovailoa going to play on Thursday night in Cincinnati? So Tua actually called Mike McDaniel last night. Here's what Mike said about that call. Tua called Mike. It's funny. Tua called Mike, and Mike's like, is everything okay? And Tua's like, just checking to see how you're doing. When in reality, Tua is going to let Mike know how he's doing. I can tell in his voice he will literally do everything he can and in his power to play. I know if he doesn't play, it literally was not possible. Happy with how he's progressed, and we feel optimistic because of the way he has worked this week. That coming from Mike McDaniel talking about Tua. So here are the Dolphins' backup quarterbacks. So if Tua cannot go, these guys might both get some action. So Teddy Bridgewater would more than likely get the start. He's the Dolphins' QB2. However, he struggled in preseason and looked lost in minimal action against the Bills. He just got 3 snaps, but he just looked lost, man. I mean, he just did not look good. The offense did not look good with him in the game. Thankfully, Tua came back in and won the game. As you all know, I'm not the biggest fan of Teddy Bridgewater. I am a fan of Skylar Thompson, who led all quarterbacks in touchdowns, passing yards, and QBR in the preseason. I think this should be the guy if Tua's not able to go. It's not realistic, though, for them to bench their $6 to $10 million backup quarterback for a 7th-round pick out of Kansas State. But here's what that 7th-round pick did in the preseason. 450 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions for Skylar Thompson. Look, Teddy's going to start if Tua can't go, right? But the leash has to be short. You're playing the defending AFC champs on the road in prime time. I'm not trying to get embarrassed, man. I'm afraid they're going to get embarrassed if Teddy Bridgewater plays the entire game. And I'm not just saying that because of the 3 snaps. And a lot of y'all, maybe not a lot, maybe some of y'all in the comments the other day were saying you can't judge Teddy based on 3 snaps. That's fair. I'm judging him based on everything I've heard, everything I've seen since he joined the Dolphins. He did not look that great in training camp. He did not look that great minicamp. He did not look good in the preseason, and then he gets in the game against Buffalo and looks lost. Skylar should be active either way, though. Even if Tua plays, Skylar Thompson should be active. You should not have Tyreek or whoever's the emergency quarterback. You have to activate Skylar Thompson, even if it means having 3 QBs active. Who's the better quarterback, guys? I think you all know what I'm thinking here. But who's the better quarterback? Teddy Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson? Type Teddy or type Sky down in the comment section. Look, Teddy's a great guy. He's a great locker room guy. I mean, we saw that video that went viral of him coaching back at his high school the other day. But Skylar Thompson's a better option at quarterback right now for the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about keys to victory. Number 1 key is to contain Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Because when you can contain this guy, you can win the game. Here is what Burrow did in his first 3 games. He was contained in the first 2. Did not play well against Pittsburgh, a very solid defense. I would argue the Dolphins have a better defense, though, if they can play up to their full potential at least. 4 interceptions in that game. Week 2 against Dallas, arguably the best defense in the league right now. Under 200 yards. Did not throw a pick, but he was contained. And then, of course, the Jets let Joe Burrow get back to being Joe Burrow. 275 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Jets. So they have to contain Joe Burrow. You cannot let him put up big numbers like Josh Allen did last week. The Dolphins still won the game, but you cannot let Joe Burrow throw for 400 yards like Allen did against you last week. Guys, we're going to be live for Thursday Night Football. Join us for a watch party. We're going to have a lot of fun here on Dolphins Today. Be sure and join us for that watch party. Can't wait. Looking forward to seeing you all there. We're going to have a lot of fun. Maybe take some Skyline chili shots. I'm talking to producer Patrick Seatman about that. We'll see. If that's the case, I'm going to be in for a long night. Let's talk about the next key to victory here. That is to pressure Joe Burrow. I want to see Burrow under pressure because we saw what happened in Week 1. He threw 4 interceptions, and you also look at the Bengals' offensive line. They have still one of the worst offensive lines in the league. In fact, the Bengals have allowed 15 sacks through 3 games this season, tied for most in the NFL. So if you can get to Joe Burrow, you have a chance to win the game. The Dolphins' defensive line should overpower the Bengals' offensive line. Even with all the money they poured in free agency to that offensive line, it still sucks. Pressure Joe Burrow. What doesn't suck is this deal from BetUS. If you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Dolphins125, you're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. That means if you put $100 in, you're going to get $125 additional cash to bet with. Great deal. Go and take advantage. Chatsports.com/bet. Surprise, surprise. Vegas is disrespecting the Miami Dolphins again. The Dolphins are once again the underdogs for the 3rd time in their first 4 games, even though they're the best team in the league right now. Bengals a 3.5-point favorite. Guys, take Dolphins money line. Take Dolphins spread. Take the Tyreek over. Take the Waddle over. I've been winning a lot of bets on BetUS. You can do the same. Chatsports.com/bet. This is going to be, by the way, the first Tua Tagovailoa Joe Burrow NFL meeting. 2 former rivals in the SEC West going at it. And the last time these 2 guys met, it was one of the best games we've ever seen at the collegiate level, 46-41 LSU win in 2019. So that was an epic game. Hopefully another epic game in store for us on Thursday night. But you got to know Tua is not going to want to lose to Joe Burrow like he did his last season at Alabama. Speaking of Tua, you got to keep him untouched. If Tua plays in this game, he's not going to be 100%. He's very banged up. He's got the back. He's got the ankle. You have got to protect him as an offensive line. I've been pleasantly surprised with the offensive line play, specifically from Greg Little. Teron Armstead has been as advertised, but you have to keep Tua untouched in this game, protect your quarterback. And then to win the turnover battle. We saw the Dolphins do that easily in Week 1. It led to a big win over New England, an easy win, arguably, over the Patriots. Win the turnover battle. That kind of goes with containing Joe Burrow and pressuring him, but you got to win the turnover battle to win this game. Cincinnati's not an easy place to play. Paul Brown State, not an easy place to play. It's in primetime. Win the turnover battle and get the run game going. We have not seen that the first couple weeks of the season. The run game has been disappointing. I'm not freaking out yet. We're still only 3 weeks in, but we're 3 weeks into the season, and no Dolphins running back has over 80 yards rushing, which is not good. Edmonds, 79 yards. Mostert, 78. We haven't seen Myles Gaskin, which is weird. No carries. And then Salvon Ahmed has been injured. He has not played with a heel injury. So I'm a little bit disappointed with the run game, but think about this. Think about how dangerous it's going to be. The offense, if they can get the run game going. The offense is already one of the best in the league. If you can start to get your running backs in rhythm, this offense is going to be even more dangerous. Guys, who's going to be the rushing leader on TNF? In Week 1, Edmonds was RB1. In Week 2, Mostert was RB1. And then last week, Chase Edmonds led the team in rushing. Go down in the comment section, type C for Chase Edmonds or type R for Raheem Mostert, who's going to lead the team in rushing on Thursday Night Football. My last key to victory here. Be aggressive on offense. I want to see some go balls, man. I want to see this offense air it out. I want to see Tyreek with a big reception. I want to see Waddle with a big reception. We saw them go deep to Waddle on 3rd and 22. Biggest play of the game, maybe the biggest throw of Tua's career. And Tua made that throw look effortless. He hit Jalen Waddle in stride. So I want to see us air it out. I mean, my goodness, when you look at the Bengals secondary, the Dolphins offense should certainly overpower them. Eli Apple against Tyreek Hill, yeah, I want to see some go balls. Speaking of the Bengals, they're going to be wearing these all-white uniforms on Thursday. We learned this today. It was confirmed. So I do not want to get outdressed here if I'm the Dolphins. We need to wear the throwbacks, right? We have to wear the throwbacks. If the Dolphins wear these throwback uniforms, it's going to be the greatest uniform combination game in history. The Bengals all-whites against the Dolphins throwbacks. Those should be the permanent unis, by the way. I don't know how they're not already, but those should be the uniforms for Thursday night. The Bengals are going to go with their all-whites. I think the Bengals are going to win this game, guys. I gave you all my prediction after every single one of these previews. I think it's going to be tough for the fans, and here's why. It's going to be a short week for the Dolphins after that big win against Buffalo. Not just a short week, but you have to go to Cincinnati on a short week. A road game after a short week makes that even more difficult. Tua's banged up. He got 15 players on the injury report. I'm concerned about Thursday, but at the same time, even if you lose this football game, you start the season 3-1. You had the most difficult stretch out of any team in the league your first 4 games. I was going to be thrilled with 2-2. You're 3-1 going into a pretty easy stretch after the Cincinnati game. I'm going to be feeling good either way. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. This is going to be maybe the best Thursday night game we've seen yet. But I'm going to take the Bengals 28-24 over the fence. Guys, go down and subscribe to the channel because we're going to be doing a watch party for that game on Thursday. Subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live.